Hello and welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. I have one too many sets of headphones on, and welcome in. It is Friday the 7th of February, 2025, and we have some new structures to look at in the game of Upland, some thoughts on the idea of right-sizing or micro-sizing structures that are supposed to be tied to larger properties, and that gives utility for larger properties if you can only do certain things with those larger properties. And now that you can do them with smaller properties, what's the value of the larger properties? Kind of that concept a little bit. Ultimately, it is nice in many, many ways. It is a challenge to the convention of there are reasons to have large properties, and here's a reason, and now that reason's not as justified. And Xstacks Team Challenge, we'll get into that again. We see the Xstacks Team Challenge as yet another incentivization on the part of Upland to make Xstacks more about being social than the game itself and using the social element to help grow the user base for the game. Again, we have to create exposure for the game somehow. Upland wants to get more people playing, more people knowing what Xstacks is, and using that as a gateway to bring people into Upland. And they are dropping some incentives. We'll look at that challenge. We'll look at the rewards. We'll look at the potential for you to earn some sparkle into some serious amounts. But before we get into all that, one thing where I get to read without having to share a screen because it's in my personal email is an email we got from Upland today about the Road to the Big Game Challenge. This has been happening for a while. Road to the Big Game Challenge was something Upland had running with staking in the city of New Orleans from, I would say it was early in the season, early in the NFLPA season. And it was running all the way to the big game, kind of giving New Orleans a special shine and ability or a reason for people to stake in New Orleans, a reward that was going to happen closer to the big game. And now we're there. The big game this coming Sunday. We will be watching two teams, one from Kansas City, one from Philadelphia. Look at following Upland's cue here with no team names, but cities matter here. One from Philadelphia, one from Kansas City, facing off in the big game this coming Sunday, and that means the reward is out. At least the email is, and waiting to see those sparklet rewards. Reminder that this was a kind of a milestone for the game because Upland encouraged, incentivized, and ultimately created an environment where people wanted to stake in a specific city. And with those incentives, 55 billion sparklet hours were staked in the city of New Orleans during that period. And that is a congratulations to the community. That is a big deal. And the rewards, significant there as well. We had a phase in as far as how much got dropped, at what point, how large the airdrop was because of how much was staked overall. And again, congratulations to the community because this was a big deal and it's a big payout. And we'll get into that. I'll read that email or let people know what to look out for as far as your Sparklet rewards. And again, it's too late to participate if you didn't. But if you did any of the activity or you did the activity that qualifies you, heads up, you are gaining a reward. Let's get the disclaimer out of the way. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. Should we take as game strategy financial advice that represent the game of the team of Upland? Any guests or contributors who we do have on have their own opinion. They're welcome to them. Shouldn't be taking as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show. They represent the team of the game of Upland. Easy enough. Let's take a look at that email. Like I said, this is for the context of if you haven't received it, this is some language that is coming from it. This is what we're looking at overall. If you haven't received it, but you think you qualified, check your email, check your spam. I believe this is getting rolled out to everybody who qualified in New Orleans. And here's the context. Dear Goldsmith, that's me. Dear the Goldsmith, we are thrilled to congratulate you on your outstanding achievements in the Road to the Big Game Challenge, meaning I staked Spark in the city of New Orleans during that contest period. Your dedication and teamwork have truly transformed the landscape of New Orleans in Upland, and it's all thanks to your collective effort of staking over 55 billion sparklet hours. Again, 55 billion sparklet hours in New Orleans during this period. Again, I think it's 4 months or 3.5 months. And to put it into context, we usually look at spark hours and not sparklet hours. Sparklet is 1,000th of a spark. You are still talking about what, 500 or 55 million? Is that right? 55 million spark hours. It's a huge amount. We had thresholds to hit to get certain earnings, and we obviously hit the highest threshold that was there. We're gonna have a decent amount, 2.5 million sparklet. Yeah, 2.5 million sparklet overall. That will be the prize. Will be given out, distributed from everyone who did stake sparklet during the 3.5 month period, 4 month period. And again, this is pretty significant. I can't tell you how much I got. I can't tell you how much you got. The email doesn't tell us those things. It does tell us that this drop is coming. As an active participant, we are excited to announce that you will soon receive a special Sparklet airdrop. Please look out for the reward in your accounts within the next few days. And remember to collect by the 17th of February at 9 a.m. PT. Again, these airdrops are timed, and the airdrop sits in your account. You have to log in, have to hit the collect button inside of a window to get the reward. With the Super Bowl upon us, oh my God, they said the word Super Bowl. I guess it's in a direct communication email. I guess they can say that. But with the Super Bowl upon us, we hope you have a fantastic time cheering for your favorite team again, following up Wynn's lead. That is the team from Philadelphia, the team from Kansas City. May the best team win. Thank you again for your commitment and teamwork. Enjoy your awards and let the celebrations continue. Again, celebrations of refs don't screw this. I mean, this is a some people will argue that one team or the other of these two teams tends to get more favorable calls from referees. Some people have looked at previous games and said, "Ooh, the outcomes would be different if the ref call was a little bit different." But that's not getting on one side of the upcoming Super Bowl or not. But, people can have their opinions. And again, this has been something where it's a small thing. It's a small contest. It's kind of running in the background all season. It's not something that there's been a ton of reminders on. There has been a leaderboard. You can see kind of where you sit as far as how much you've contributed to the goal. So you can see, where you are in that lineup. But we don't really have a direct calculation of what percentage of that payout you will receive, but I will know very, very shortly. If you have contributed to Sparklet in the city of New Orleans, whether they're your properties or not, if you stake Sparklet, you do have the opportunity to turn around and get a reward here very shortly. You log into your Upwin account, take a look over the next couple of days. You will see the reward pop up. Make sure you collect it by the 17th of February. That's an easy one. Easy thing to participate in. If you're staking your Spark anyways, and Upland says stake in this city versus this city, listen to Upland's recommendation. Take the reward when they give it, and be part of the community. Again, this was something that if you look at New Orleans now, and we're gonna do that. If you look at New Orleans now, and you look at New Orleans 4 months ago, you will see that there was a considerable amount of development that was done in this city, specifically because Upland said this is a city to develop at this time. Here's a reward for doing so. Whether or not there was a reward, if Upland said collectively, let's build out Blank City, I think that we would see Blank City get built out pretty effectively because there is a concentration of effort. There's people who want to work in a coordinated way, who want to build out coordinated neighborhoods or coordinated cities. And it is a pretty impressive transformation when you look at New Orleans. When you look at New Orleans from 4 months ago to New Orleans now, and let's go take a peek. Let's go take a peek just because you'll see in a lot of cities, you'll have whole blocks where there may not be a structure. And instead, when you come to New Orleans, you see whole blocks where there's all structures. And these aren't just the areas that, are otherwise node areas. That's what we see in a lot of cities where we have one node or another. We have this collective activity where, they say build out this street, then build out that street and build this structure instead of that structure. And we see that all over the place, all over the map, different cities in Upland. And that's not what we see in New Orleans. We do see that there's a couple nodes that are in New Orleans, there's no question, but there is city by city, we see that the majority of those areas are built up in the node areas. But in New Orleans, because the goal was to build something in New Orleans, anything in New Orleans, stake Spark in New Orleans, in the entirety of the city, we see that the entirety of the city got some distribution of new structures that, again, wouldn't have been built there unless Upland said, this is a city to develop now. Again, the reward focused some of that activity and incentivized some people who otherwise would not have built in New Orleans. But to some degree, some of the people who were building, I was one of them, liked the idea that we were contributing to a specific city to see that get built out more, to see more structures come in. On the flip side, the more structures there are in the game, does it add more value to structures overall? In an argument or to a degree, people could say, well, if there's thousands of structures, thousands upon thousands of structures in New Orleans, is it special to own a structure in New Orleans? Maybe, maybe not. But it does make the overall city look a little nicer to have more structures built throughout. It does make certain streets and certain neighborhoods in the city that are almost entirely built out or 80% built out, or neighborhoods of 2 or 3 blocks that are entirely built out. It makes them look really nice, and it makes them nice for layer 2. It makes them nice just to look at in general. And who knows, when we get utility, if we get utility for structures, if we get some other layer of, use case, or being able to see structures, or races, which we already have, races going through the streets that display the structures, it's going to look really nice to have that area built out. And again, I'm continuing to scroll through New Orleans. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to more incentives to build in specific cities, more incentives to build in general. And as long as Upland does this the right way, we are going to continue to see that incentivization to build structures have a upward pressure on building, on the value of Sparklet for renting, and overall help beautify and help build out the game of Upland. So it's kind of fun. It was kind of fun to see it happen. Look out for your Sparklet reward, hopefully very, very soon incoming. All right, let's take a look at the other piece here. We'll say 2, but the other piece here of the day that I was kind of excited about. Again, I'm not just excited because of the way Upland's running a promotion or a incentive or a leaderboard contest to support a function of the game. Obviously, this is Upland trying to, just like the airdrop in the beginning of the TGE talks, before the TGE happened, but when we were talking about the introduction of Spark on exchanges, there was airdrops to bring people in, new people into the community, but also just crypto people in and excited about Sparklet. They're pretty significant airdrops, and there were some people who really cashed in who previously had very little activity in the game of Upland, being rewarded for networking more than a specific in-game Upland activity. And why was it important? It was important because the people who were doing network activity were theoretically bringing new people into the game, and the new people in the game, it's good for the community. Same thing here, where Upland is looking to, get Xstacks rolling, get more players, potentially go viral with it, where they're compensating certain people to do certain activities, but then all of a sudden it's traveling peer to peer, and more people are seeing it, and the more people that see it, the more people that play it. And if you get to a critical mass of people playing, now more people are playing because their friends are playing, and at a certain point it no longer has any tie back to the original incentivized activity, but the incentives are significant. So if you need an incentive, a reason to play Xstacks, a reason to share your scores, a reason to be creative about how you share on social to get more eyes and more interactions, these incentives are there. Let's take a look at that announcement. We've seen how well you can play. Now, how well can you recruit for your city? Again, same thing here, right? Recruiting, this idea, same as the airdrop, where it is a social activity rather than a game activity. We aim to answer that question with this challenge. Get your friends involved, your family, your pets. Okay, maybe not your pets. See, multi-counting is not a joke, Upland. Not a joke. your family, if you get real people with real pulses, with real social accounts who are really going to interact with the game of Upland, get them in. Get them in. We want them all to experience the X sensation that is Xstacks. Details are here. And again, no pets, no cactuses, no fake accounts. Do this the right way and earn. The disclaimer that's always here. And even though Upland, or even if Upland's not put it out, the disclaimer is always here. If you try to end run the rules, you get disqualified. So don't try to end run the rules. Xstacks players, it's time to level up your recruiting game. We're launching a team building challenge to see who you can bring in and who can bring in the most new Xstacks players. And the rewards are big, and they are significant. Upland's not just tooting their own horn here. How to build your team from now until Thursday, February 13th. That's the day before Valentine's Day at 9 a.m. PT. We want you to help grow the Xstacks community by spreading the word and getting new players to join through your links that you share on X. And here is how. Engage on social media. Reply to gaming-related tweets. Again, Upland wants you to go out, search out communities, and teach them about Xstacks and have them engage in your Xstacks posts. And again, this is about engaging gamers. And we talked about Upland as being of cross purposes. Play, connect, earn. People have said, is it really a game? How much gaming is there? How much gamification is there? And does it feel like a game to people? Ultimately, we're promoting a game now, a game that doesn't feel like it's social. It doesn't feel like it's earning, but it is. It does have opportunities to earn. Upland's creating a way for it to be social. Again, these leaderboards, these city versus cities, and these point-based contests. But this is a game-first element of Upland. Tag those communities and introduce Xstacks to players who would love the challenge. Again, bring the game to people who game. Share your team links. The more new Xstacks players who join through your link, the higher your chances of winning. Post eye-catching visuals. Upload awesome images of your city team to make your post stand out. Create fun content. Record and share your gameplay, funny fails, pro tips, reviews, and challenges to draw in new players. Again, this is Upland saying reward you for your activity, but it ultimately is Upland looking for people to create content, to create buzz, to create shares, to create clicks into Xstacks. Challenge friends and gamers. Call out your favorite gaming buddies and communities to join in on the fun. We've got a folder full of images and GIFs ready for you to use and to share. Customize them. Add captions. Make your post pop to attract new Xstacks players. Use them as is or get creative with collages, memes, or videos. Every share helps grow your team and boost your chances of winning. Again, this is Upland's stab or Upland's opportunity, trying to create one to get this to share or get this to be shared with a larger group of people, this to get outside of the Upland community, this to be something that people, see because of one post and then get involved in and, research more and see about potential earnings and see that you can earn Sparklet, and that Sparklet's tied to Upland, and that Upland's this game about property, but it's not. It's about more. It's this idea to onboard people from a tangential source, and ultimately, it's a primary opportunity then to play Xstacks, because Xstacks is its own thing, has its own value as a playable game, and obviously we see that Upland is monetizing Xstacks. We're seeing that Upland has a value Upland has a value they are deriving from Xstacks outside of the game of Upland itself, and we're part of that community, and to some degree, why do you participate? And maybe you're participating because you want to see Upland grow and all things tied to Upland grow, because maybe that'll tangentially help Upland. But maybe there's another reason. What's up for grabs? The top 25 players who bring in the most new Xstacks players will earn incredible rewards. And this is one of the richest reward pools that we've seen for individuals, or at least richest rewards for individuals at the top of the contest. First through third place, 10,000. That's 10,000 Sparklet each, exclusive X badge, limited Frost Step Block Explorer. 4th through 10th place, they got 5,000 Sparklet limited Frost Step Block Explorer. 11th through 25th, limited Frost Step Block Explorer. Okay, so this is a contest where 30,000 Sparklet are being given out to the top 3. Again, that's 10,000 each. And then 4th through 10th, that's 6 additional places, 5,000. That's a total of 60,000 Sparklet. We've seen other contests that have had, 500,000 Sparklet, 2.5 million Sparklet, split between 800 players or 700 players. The 2.5 million between 700, 800 players, not distributed equally, but distributed among 800, 900,000 players. When we're talking about road to the big game, it's thousands of players for 2.5 million Sparklet. Here we're talking about 60,000 Sparklet going out to a total of 10 people. It's kind of exciting to see that happen. More power to you, those who earn, those who won, and congratulations to the winners, even though they're not winners yet. But I say congratulations to the winners because some of those people are already cementing their way up the steps. Having a larger count, having more views definitely does help. You get more views by having a larger audience. However, the interactivity, the people engaging with your post doesn't just come from having more overall subscribers or overall viewers or overall shares. It has to do with engagement. People have to engage with your content. So there is some strategy here. This is a opportunity for people who either do this regularly, these types of contests, to try to do shared content. And it's also an opportunity for people who are serious about the game itself and can really kind of share some of the excitement with others and hype up others with the gameplay and really share your own experiences there. So good luck. This is something that's outside the realm of your skill. This is not just about how good are you at playing a game. It's about how good are you in the social aspect. And you can win a significant amount of Sparklet. 10,000 Sparklet is a significant amount of Sparklet by being one of the top 3. Again, additional Sparklet prizes to those in the rest of the top 10. That's something that to watch out for a significant prize here. Both the team building badge and Block Explorer will contribute to your Frost season collector score. So it is tied to Frost season, giving you a little extra boost. So how many new players can you bring into Xstacks? Start recruiting now and claim your rewards. So it's a pretty significant reward. Upland is significantly incentivizing Sparklet activity, and they really want to bring people in. They want to bring people in. Like I said, this is a standalone game. It has value to Upland because it is monetizable for them. They have a premium account for theoretically people who aren't tied to Upland, but it also increases value or may increase value of Sparklet by giving people a reason to hold 150 Sparklet in a MetaMask wallet, because now they can use that 150 Sparklet as a gated pass. They can use that MetaMask as saying, okay, I'm going to hold on to this blank amount of Sparklet. I'm going to keep it in my account because it's going to allow me to keep free access to whatever this game is. And if Upland's going to apply that same gating, that same token gating, the same token gating to multiple ecosystems and multiple games, and Xstacks is the first, and then they're going to have, X tomatoes and X cheesecakes or whatever, different games that are tied. See, I made it about food because if you know what a stack is, you know what I'm talking about. But it really is. It really is an opportunity for Upland to leverage Sparklet or token gating. That's just something we've talked about Upland potentially doing for a while. But to leverage token gating to give some additional incentive for people to keep and hold and purchase on the secondary or purchase from Upland Sparklet. So we're going to continue to see that. But I do have to do something. And I do have to do this because I haven't done this in a long time. I have to do this because this is something that we don't talk about or don't think about on a daily basis, because Upland and the price of Sparklet outside of Upland, they're not directly linked. But because Upland is trying to, make this play of pushing Sparklet around, or, Sparklet as a prize versus, Sparklet as a gated token, as a how Sparklet exists and lives outside the game of Upland, we do have to talk about the pricing of Sparklet. And we need to talk about that. As of today, or as of this week, we saw a Spark release where Spark was significantly under 3 cents when people were going to buy Sparklet, and that was, that was through the Game of Up when they don't do a huge amount of those bundles, but we had the $10 and the $20 bundle. They actually tend to be some of the best deals per Sparklet, and they sell right out because, again, much lower than it's been in the past. Currently, Sparklet sits at 2.28 cents or 2.29 cents. It's been quite a bit lower. It was at 2.2. It bottomed at 2.2 and shot back up. So we're significantly under 3 cents now. We're going to continue to see when the next Sparklet sale, as it comes up, Upland can choose quantities if they choose to continue to sell Sparklet at a certain price point. They may not sell as much in the Game of Upland. That's up to them. It's their prerogative. But we can see the opportunity to potentially pick up more Sparklet for less price than you've paid in the past in the Game of Upland, outside the Game of Upland. Now the question is the incentives to hold and incentives to use. If that helps the value, again, as a cryptocurrency, as a token, when you buy Sparklet, there's no guarantee that its value is going to ever increase. Use case, buying it and having it to potentially allow you to get into some games that otherwise you'd have to pay a subscription fee for, or allow you to have exclusive content that you can access because you are token gated, because you own token, you have it in a MetaMask, and you can prove that you own that token. Now you have it access this. That is a good use case. And if that is the use case, as opposed to I'm buying it, crossing my fingers, hoping for the greater fool theory that somebody's going to want to buy it from me at a higher price than I bought it from just because, without any utility, without any use case, I think it's a lot more valuable to say I'm buying it because I want to do this with it. I want to play this game. I want to have access to this game. I want to hold on to that Sparklet so I can do that. And I hope Upland continues to leverage that. I hope they continue to look at that, and that becomes a big part of Sparklet moving forward, is what can you do with Sparklet. All right. So that is the X challenge. The Xstacks challenge is ongoing currently. It does run till the middle of next week. Get on it. 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 Or be like me and just play the game and don't get so social and don't get too excited about going in spamming communities that are outside of Upland that are tangentially related to gaming to try to get people to click on your posts. But have a good week. That'll be a fun one. We'll see. The prizes are significant. Good luck for everyone who's participated. This is a big one. This is a big one because it's multifaceted. It's kind of exciting to have small utility structures. We've had a few utility structures in the game that have enhanced utility outside of it just being a structure you can put an ornament on. It's always been fun to have manufactured and building the Game of Upland. That's been something that's developed over time. The approvals process has gotten a little better to get your ornaments or your map assets approved so that you can construct them yourselves and you can sell them. However, there's been some premium on larger properties, or it's more expensive to get a larger property than a small property. In some cities, it's easier or harder to get a large property because there's fewer large properties in the city. And sometimes the price, the UPX per UP2, is similar to the floor of UPX per UP2 for the city. And it gets pricey. The more UP2 you're talking about, the higher the price of the individual property. Well, Upland solve that and maybe create a problem, but also solve the problem of size. Problem again, not every city has a large enough property to build a large factory or even a small factory. Microfactories come in to solve that problem. Microfactories obviously takes less UP2. It's quicker to build. Spark construction hours, 4,000. Excuse me. This is bringing down the total amount of Sparklet hours needed to build a factory down a significant amount. Minimum spark requirements, 0.3. Ooh, that's way down. 0.3 spark to get started. That structure, you keep 0.3 spark on that. Leave that there. Let it go. Max spark stake, 22 spark. So you can have 22 spark on at a time, which at 4,000 spark makes it a pretty quick process to build that structure through. Spark stake for production. So 1 spark is max spark they can stake. So you build a bunch of these, you put one spark on each, whatever the distributive load is or whatever you're building there. It's going to take longer at one spark than it would with a structure that will allow 3 spark or 5 spark to be staked on that structure for building. So keep that in mind. These micros do not have the same production capabilities because it doesn't have as much capacity. The micro showroom, 2,000 spark to complete, minimum spark stake 0.3, max spark stake 20. Makes it pretty quick to get constructed. 100 hours, is that right? At max stake, 100 hours of spark stake at 20. Yeah, that is correct. Pretty good. And max assets, you can do 100 assets for sale in there at a time. Structure ornaments, you can have 100 in there at a time. You cannot sell cars at this micro showroom. I think it's a big bang for the buck. I think it's significant in the utility for the cost. And I would argue it's a little bit heavy-handed, a little bit OP in gaming terms, because people have had to hunt for these large properties, and it's been limited, and it's been difficult, and it's been an investment in OpEx, and then it's an investment in Spark. And now that you lowered that threshold, you almost make the effort that previous people have put in not feel like it's in vain, but feel like it was excessive in the least. At the very least, it was excessive. And again, the update of Upland, or making it easier, or making more utility, or making things easier for people to play or more fun, I respect it, and I like that it's the case. But when we look at it from an NFT standpoint, if you're lowering the bar for new people, you're taking people who had in the past had to meet a higher threshold, and you're making it seem like that effort or the time they had for staking their Spark and how long they had to leave it staked, you're making that effort seem like it's less important, seem like it's less valuable. And since people had chosen to do that in an earlier stage of Upland, when Spark or Sparklet was potentially more expensive to purchase or more expensive to rent, it feels a little weird. It feels a little weird to see that happen. But again, choice of Upland, trying to be an everyman's game, trying to be accessible for people who are newer in the game, more accessible for people who are building their Upland empire instead of expanding their Upland empire. And I'm sure for somebody who came in the game in the last 6 months and have 5,000 Sparklet, or 1,000 Sparklet, say 1,000 Sparklet, 2,000 Sparklet. This is accessible. This is more accessible. And maybe they haven't built their account, and maybe a 25,000 UPX property, or that's 200 UP2. Maybe that is a decent sized property for that individual, and they put the micro on there, and they did the best they could with their account, or they leverage their account to the best of their ability to build that structure. And welcome to the opportunity to put out and create in the game of Upland. And they did downscale. They downscaled the capacity, and they downscaled the construction capacity and the listing capacity. But it does feel like it is. It's lowering the bar. It's making the threshold lower. It's making it easier to enter. And again, it's making it feel for many people who put the efforts in, higher efforts in previously, it's making it feel like those were potentially wasted efforts. But this is here. This is here and available for you. And if you are at a point where you want to build one of these structures, more power to you. Congratulations. This is pretty cool. It's pretty cool that there is a lower bar than there ever has been in the past to enter the building game. I want to construct map assets. I want to construct structure ornaments. I'm a designer, or I work with one, and that's what I want to do in the game of Upland. I want to put out new UGC content. Here is an easy way to enter. Here is an easy way to build a showroom to sell some of those items. So hop right in, enjoy, and hopefully this gives us a good variety of UGC. We have an argument, and there's been the argument made that there's a glut of UGC, that it's hard to get things approved, but there's still a lot out on the market. But with more people coming in the game, fingers crossed, hopefully, maybe there's a reason for more map assets, and they bring on even more people to make them, and more voices in terms of the art, and more art on out in there and up, and hopefully quality follows. I know that sometimes it feels like people are using one generative program or another to put out assets as quickly as possible, but some of the best pieces, the hand built pieces, the ones that people really put time in, they show, the efforts show, and it's really impressive. So I'm looking forward to some new artists emerging, and maybe this makes it easier for somebody who's not part of the UGC community, not currently building map assets, to get into the business and start doing so. So good luck and congratulations to anybody who this is going to help in that next step moving forward. That's about it for the night. I mean, I will put out there, we are in frost season. I'll put that out again. Xstacks is still very new. We'll see many people who haven't even played the game playing the game. Upland's incentivizing people to go into other communities and spread the name of Xstacks. Get people to play the first time, the second time, the third time. See if they enjoy the game. It's not a bad game. It's run pretty well for me. It feels like Tetris in a circle, and that's a fun element. We've seen many Tetris clones over the years, but this is not a bad one. And you build the right incentives and right leaderboard contests, and city v city, as far as building all of that structure out in the game up. But it's kind of fun, fun level of challenge, as opposed to just who could buy the most. It's competing by what you're doing in the game, and also the social aspect, how people are engaging with your posts from your progress in the game. But for tonight, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. We get together on YouTube, on Twitter, in the Upland Discord Cafe, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, actually directly in Upland Layer 1 in the Upland Plaza. I'd love to see you there if that's where you choose to be, in a virtual space with other people in a virtual space. But if you're in the Upland Discord Cafe, as always, feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.